Welcome to the Deuce podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, we haven't been doing this for a while, but you know what? Normally we don't do much in November because we wait until we have a big October and then we have a big December.
Yes.
So kind of like November's our downtime.
Yeah, November's kind of always
we like
weird
Thanksgiving.
For us. Yeah, November's always kind of strange because we always have the election. We have election times, and
sure,
or we have
busy.
Yeah, we get
turkey.
Yep, a lot of that
stuffing.
Trying to get year-end stuff together.
You know, and now that this year's stupid year.
Stupid year. So
stupid. What a stupid year.
You're such a stupid year.
Stupid. 2020. Look at you, 2020. You're so stupid.
Such a stupid year.
We just been behind. But, you know, unfortunately, Sean Connery passed away.
He did.
I want to say about a month ago.
Yeah, you know.
Has it been about a month ago?
Yes.
No. And so we decided at the Deuce to do the second Bond movie, From Russia with Love.
Yes.
And the love is not like the zero score in tennis, right?
Correct. Now, we were going to try to do the second Highlander movie.
Yeah, that's true. We were going to.
I think we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine because most people have seen the movie that we are going to talk about, so we're probably not going to get into that many specifics of this Bond movie. I mean, it's pretty popular.
Yeah, like it's.
But we are going to talk a little bit about it. But we're also going to talk about other movies as well that will pop up. Trust me.
Right.
On this, Highlander 2. We tried looking for this movie. I've seen bits and pieces of Highlander, thanks to your old roommate. He had it on one day, and I was watching it with him, waiting for you to come home.
That's the only time you've seen parts of it?
That's the only time I've ever seen is with Ben, and he kept flipping it to like a football game or something.
Oh yeah, that's watching TV with Ben, all right.
Yeah. So so I really didn't get to watch it, but Highlander 2 is very hard to find. We found it on YouTube, but it was dubbed.
Right.
There's a dubbed version on YouTube, and then there's also like you know when you find a movie or a show on YouTube that you probably shouldn't find, and they have it like really small. So there's like a little small version of it,
or they put it like inside of another TV.
Do you know what I mean?
Picture,
Yeah.
That it's, yeah.
There's that version. There's no way I'm going to watch that. And you couldn't even find it to order.
Well, okay, so the original cut of it is out of print, and it's something I'd probably have
the original cut of it.
I'd probably have to like look in physical stores to go find it.
But 2020, it's stupid.
Right. Well, here's the thing that changed. Like I don't want to review the director's cut.
No.
And the reason I don't want to is because they went back and did kind of like a post-movie edit and being like, they took out the stuff that was essentially garbage and tried to replace it and adjust it. And I just don't feel like reviewing that. I want to review what it was.
But that's the whole fun of that movie, I guess, right?
The
stupidness of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so... originally... Like, you find out that the Highlanders actually come from another planet. And it's got this whole weird alien storyline.
Great. No, but we could find Highlander 3.
You can find everything else.
Highlander the series, Highlander the animated series.
Yes.
Everything Highlander except Highlander 2.
Everything except and they all stream except Highlander 2.
Yes.
It's
very much so.
Like, that one is...
It's like they don't want... it's like at The Exorcist 2. No one wants it to exist.
Yes.
And so, why have it there? So...
Right.
Yeah. So, we decided to go, the James Bond route. Because he's not in many sequels.
No.
Or Sean Connery.
I mean, really, those two.
Those two seem to be it, I didn't see A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 2.
No.
And he's not in Patriot Games because that's Harrison Ford.
Correct.
He's in The Hunt for Red October.
Correct.
So there really is no sequel besides
and
these
he's
two
not
movies.
in a sequel to The Avengers. the one with Mrs. P.
Oh, gross. Oh, that movie.
That was one of my least favorite Sean Connery
My
roles.
God. And then the Grateful Dead teddy bears show up in the movie.
That's what I always think about him.
Do you know, I saw that movie like with my friend Piper, and behind us was my uncle Spencer.
Really?
Yes. And his soon to be, second wife. Like, I'm like, and then he asked me about bicycles. It was a very weird experience, but I don't really want to get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's like, "Well, I'm looking forward to this movie," and I'm like, "Sure, I just want something to do in my small podunk town."
Ben and I had gone and seen a movie with his mother, because we were. I think
You went to go see
school.
this movie with, the guy I saw half of Highlander with.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went and saw a movie, and when we were coming out of the movie, you saw the stand up for or the standee for the Avengers, and for a second we were so
The
excited.
TV / made into a movie Avengers.
Right.
You have to be okay.
Well, that's what we didn't know that at the time.
The Ray Fiennes, Uma Thurman,
Ben and
Sean
I
Connery.
were super excited.
Yes.
And so we were like, it's weird that they'd put Jarvis and Black Widow on a thing. And so that's what we thought they were.
Jarvis.
And Ben's mom.
Ray Fiennes probably at that time.
Ben's mother went to the movie with us, and she was just like, no, and had to explain what the Avengers was.
Yes.
And we were like,
God bless
what?
Emma Peel. She died too this year.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But we are doing From Russia
From Russia with love.
with a 0 score in tennis.
Yes.
Love. A lot of love in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of James Bond. And you know what? I don't really watch a lot of James Bond movies. Not my bag. But I enjoyed this movie. I'm going to tell you I did.
Yeah.
There's parts of it I really did enjoy. So we'll get into it. But
Yeah.
do we have a plot synopsis?
I do. And there's all sorts of good synopses about this just because, it's a well-enjoyed movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people enjoy this one.
Sure.
Actually, it shows up on a lot of lists as the number one.
I can argue that it's probably one of the best Bond movies.
It shows it's
out there.
it's at least in the top 3 on most of them.
Probably, if not 2.
Okay, so James Bond 007 is sent
What?
on a mission to Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Not Constantinople.
To try and acquire a Russian cipher machine known as Lektor from a defecting Russian agent. However, the Russians have no knowledge of this, as it is a Spectre ploy to lure James Bond into a trap, a fitting tribute to their now dead agent Dr. No.
Dr. No, which is from the first movie.
Correct.
Obviously, Dr. No, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, again, this movie came out, 1963?
63.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry. Who's in this movie?
So this
Besides
movie,
Sean Connery?
Oh, well, so it's got Sean Connery. There is Daniela Bianchi, who is she plays Tatiana Romanova,
Right.
who is the Bond girl.
She was a
in this
model, wasn't she?
one. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of
Yeah.
people in this. I would say that probably the most notable of the crew was Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw, right?
Plays Red, who's like an assassin.
Right. That's true, too. Yeah. Who played the one, Pedro? His name is Pedro.
Oh, Pedro Armendariz.
Pedro
Who
Armendariz.
plays Ali Karim Bey.
Who, shortly after this movie, committed suicide because he had cancer.
Yeah.
And he had cancer because of the movie The Conqueror. If you know, do you know about the movie The Conqueror?
I don't think I do.
The John Wayne movie, The Conqueror, where he plays Genghis Khan.
Oh, yes.
And half the people who were in that movie died from cancer-related incidences.
Shortly
So Susan
after.
Hayworth was in that movie. Agnes Moorehead, Pedro obviously was, and they shot it in Utah. like
Nuclear
close
bomb.
by, like a nuclear, like testing site
Gross.
back in the day. Yeah, and they told them, oh, everything's going to be okay. So Susan Hayworth and like John Wayne also invited like their children to come visit them on set as well. Yeah, and so like all of John Wayne's kids had cancer scares as well. There was about 200 some people that worked on this film, and about half of them died or had cancer-related incidences, including the director. The producer was Howard Hawks, who later would buy every print of this movie. $12 million it cost him just to have it, to make sure that no one would watch this movie. And then later in 1979, the rights of the movie were up, and but he would watch it. There was a rumor that he would watch it every day, maybe as torture for what he did. As far, because he let everyone, oh, it's fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, and it ruined RKO pretty much. So it's pretty much Orson Welles brought RKO to the forefront. Agnes Moorehead was in Citizen Kane.
Right.
And then, John Wayne brought it down with this movie. So it's a terrible movie. I mean, Genghis Khan is played by John Wayne, for heaven's sakes.
Yes. That is one, like my mother was a big
Do you remember?
John Wayne
Do you
fan.
know the story behind this?
Yeah.
It's
not
crazy.
this story. No, I didn't. But
Of that movie?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just know
My
that,
dad told me that.
Yeah, I didn't know that part of it. I just knew that, like, my mom was a big John Wayne fan. And I just remember her being like, youch.
Yeah.
like, and she's not one who would normally care. Catch my drift. But she was just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe he's
Go on
he's
YouTube
gone.
go on YouTube and put the movie that killed half of its cast, and you'll get an explanation.
Yeah.
That's pretty well done.
Yeah.
That talks about it. Anyway, we are talking about From Russia with Love.
Yeah, and there's a few other notables. So, like,
There is. Go ahead.
Bernard Lee is M.
Sure.
Again,
Which is
well known.
no, actually, this is the first time we've actually saw M.
Is it M? I always get M and Q confused.
Oh no, Q. This is the first time we saw Q.
Yes, Desmond Llewellyn.
Who would then, go on to do most of Q up until
Yes.
probably Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Because I think even the Pierce Brosnan.
He showed up for
Yeah.
ever. But yeah, Q. This is the first appearance of Q.
Q. Yes.
Again played
Not
by,
M, because M was probably in the first one.
right.
Obviously.
M was in the first one.
Yeah.
Q. Desmond Llewellyn.
Elemental P was in this as well.
he's
Don't forget about
Q,
Elemental P.
But this is where we learn his real name is Boothroyd, because his last name is Boothroyd, because that's
Which
when they
I
said
pulled that. I pulled that once. I pulled the Boothroyd.
you pulled a Boothroyd?
Ooh, ow. Ooh,
Ow.
Ooh. Lifting. I lifted
always
something.
a pain in my Boothroyd.
Always lift with your legs, folks.
And of course, again you have Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny. The
What was that?
Miss Moneypenny.
That's how she sounds?
No, that's how he.
Okay.
That's my terrible Sean Connery.
Okay. Oh, that's your terrible show. I was like, what?
Sweet and savory sandwiches.
So basically, if I'm going to say this correctly, James Bond just flirts his way through the whole movie.
Pretty much.
I mean, he
but that's
has
what
sex
he
with everyone
has
in this
to.
movie, including
Yes.
Pedro's character. I think he had sex with him too.
Probably. This also actually marks the last time that we see the ill-conceived Sylvia Trench. There's the character at the very beginning. Her name is Sylvia Trench, played by Eunice Gayson. So
Very dominatrix kind of like.
his girlfriend at the beginning.
Oh no, his girlfriend. No, I was thinking someone else.
Yeah, no. Okay, so
Oh, his girlfriend at the beginning.
yes.
Oh yeah.
So she.
I didn't know he had a
She was
girlfriend.
in the first movie too.
Okay.
And
James Bond doesn't have a girlfriend.
he almost did. So the original
Screw that.
plan basically was for Sylvia Trench to appear in Bond's movies as his regular girlfriend.
What?
Like, all the time. Which is why she was so...
But then you don't get Bond girls.
No, you still do. She would have been continually frustrated
Oh, okay.
with Bond getting called away to his next
That just
assignment.
seems like way too much.
Well, and it also, to me, it seems sleazy.
Well, not only sleazy, it's almost like too comical.
Yes.
Or like cheesy in a way.
Yeah.
Like set in vein of like, that should be more of a Pink Panther movie.
Yeah.
And not a James Bond movie.
Right.
Does that make sense? You know?
And it also,
it's
I
stupid.
think it's also kind of like, you get some elements of this in, like the Austin Powers movies.
Yeah.
Like from the first to the second one, where Liz Hurley she does show up at the beginning of the second one. And
That's
then,
true.
like, blows up or whatever. But, like, she shows up again, and then they get rid of her.
Yeah.
But this is where they were like, I think there was also issue with, like, from what I read.
Liz Hurley.
No.
Okay.
There was some issue with people were like, so wait, he's got a girlfriend at home, like a steady girlfriend who is
Right.
like patiently waiting for him.
That seems
and
kinda
he's always
sleazy.
just, screwing his way around the globe.
Well, he has
To
to in the
cheat
name
on her.
of spying.
And the reality
One
of the
has
situation
to.
is,
Have you not seen The Americans?
well, but
Come on.
if that's part of his duty, I mean, what are you gonna do? But I think that it also cast him in like a shitty light then too, and
said
so they were like, duty. So I think they were like, you know what, let's not continue with that because it didn't make him come out in a good light.
Oh no. Are we going to talk about the henchman in this movie?
We
I mean, you talked about a
some
little
henchmen.
bit,
Yeah.
but the guy from the Apple,
Yes.
Mr. Boogaloo?
Vladek Shaybal.
Yes,
He plays Kronstein, who is this like master chess player.
which is also a new donut that you can get.
Kronstein.
Yes, the Kronstein.
It's filled with
Yum.
It's filled with bitter filling.
I want the Kronstein.
So
Yum.
Vladek Shaybal, he also shows up like he makes kind of made a name for himself being in these Bond films and some other things. He got referred to this, and it actually helped make his career.
The Apple didn't?
No. But he also showed up in Casino Royale. There's an old TV version of Casino Royale, which was the actual first appearance of James Bond, but he worked for the CIA.
Oh, is that the one
and
he
was
showed up in?
American. No, he
No.
showed up in the comical like parody Casino Royale with like Woody Allen and
Woody Allen plays James Bond.
everybody played James Bond in that movie.
I know.
And Orson Welles was
Played
in there.
James. Oh no, he was his bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
There, another Orson Welles connection. There
yeah,
you go.
right. So he
It
played
all comes back to Orson fucking Welles.
it does.
Jesus.
He played the concierge in that.
Screw like Kevin Bacon. It's like 6 degrees of
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
Exactly. So he was in that, and he kept kind of made his name off that. People recognize him from these Bond films, and to me, he's kind of like, you start getting a better sense of like, oh, Bond villains, like based off of like him.
Yes, and like the one Robert Shaw
Yes.
henchman kind of character.
Yeah, with like the unstoppable, like
The unstoppableness
badass
of it.
kind
Yeah. And he's really good in this. Like, I'm amazed how much I really like enjoyed that Bond villain.
Which one?
The Robert Shaw character.
Yes, Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've never seen before the movie The Apple, it's a musical.
That is Court Psyops' favorite musical.
It is Court House's favorite musical.
And when we mean favorite, we mean no, it's not.
Sends
We
him
forced
into
him to
fits
watch
of
it.
rage every time he watches.
We forced him to watch it one day. Yeah.
Yeah, and he disliked it.
Well, you know.
It's one of those movies that's
It's
so
the
bad.
apple, crabbled apple. It's the apple. Spear.
But the
An actual factual vampire.
Shaybal, Vladek Shaybal plays a character named Mr. Boogaloo.
Mr. Boogaloo.
Yes, and he
He's
makes
like a record producer.
Yes, he runs Boogaloo International Music.
Yes.
BIM.
BIM.
That basically takes over the world because he's
on the way.
devil, pretty much.
Hey. Let's take a BIM break.
Yeah,
shall we?
It's the BIM hour where
BIM
everybody
hour.
has to take a break part of the way through the day and dance.
And do calisthenic like kicks.
Yes,
in the middle of the street.
Choreographed with the nuns dancing. And,
Oh, the police people were too.
But the movie it's a Golem and Globus
It was like a
production.
gay wet dream.
It's a Golem and Globus production.
Yeah.
And read up on it sometime. Watch it if you will.
No.
What
do you mean watch it?
It was
Just
so
take it for what it is.
So at the premiere, people reacted so badly to it. They gave people cassette tapes of the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
People reacted so badly, they started throwing their cassette tapes at the screen.
Yeah.
And it was received so badly that one of Golem and Globus decided he was going to go back up to his room and kill himself. But his partner showed up and was like, dude, no, and stopped him from doing that.
So we have not really talked about this movie.
No.
Instead, we talked about two dud of a movies, and we compared, that. I don't know, like that's a pretty bad movie, but I'm sorry. Half the cast of the Conqueror gets cancer, and then The Apple. There's a lot of bad movies that these people are connected with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Not let alone like what's that one, Entrapment? Was Sean Connery in Entrapment?
Is that the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah. Is that a terrible movie?
We
I don't
talked
remember.
about a lot of them. Like we talked about the Avengers. We talked about
the Avengers. Oh my God, the Avengers too.
and the
Yeah.
second.
Ooh.
Highlander
We really don't
and-
want to talk about a really good movie.
no,
Let's
I
talk
think we
about
do.
what we liked about this movie, since we talked about terrible movies before. Shall we?
Yeah.
I thought the cinematography of this movie was out of the world. I mean, it was really good.
Yes.
I enjoyed the cinematography. I didn't think I would. I thought, it's a Bond movie.
No, it's
I'm not going to think
beautifully
about
shot.
that.
It's
But
beautifully
yeah,
shot.
it's really well shot.
And I also didn't get I don't get the sense of sometimes when you see these movies in Istanbul and things like that, they make it this dirty third world country looking thing and where it's
Wait, are they in Istanbul?
yeah,
Not Constantinople?
No.
Okay.
No,
they might
that's
be
nobody's
Germans.
business but the Turks.
Well, that's true.
But they made it it's this very gorgeous look at the city and I mean it just they don't make it seem like a hellhole, which is what a lot of movies try to portray it as. They emphasize the beauty of the area, and whether it's probably not actually filmed there or it might have been, I don't know. But they don't try to play it down like it's
part of that. Don't you think is the Bond aspect of it, just kind of being kind of gloss and polished,
yeah.
too, and suave and debonair.
It also could be a U.S. studio, versus English.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. More of a European look at it versus, American.
I thought, and I did enjoy Robert Shaw, like we talked about before.
Yes.
The Unstoppable Force. I did enjoy that fight scene that they had in the train.
Yeah.
I thought that was so great.
Yeah, there's a fight that takes place on the train that
and it could have gotten ridiculous,
it could have.
but it wasn't.
I also
I think about Unstoppable, villains.
Yeah.
How that kind of, I mean, you have like the Westworld or Terminator where you have those, but those are more robots. This is a real, henchman after you. You know, that's tracking your every. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I think of
he's more rooted in reality than
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And I think of stuff like that.
He's more rooted in reality than Odd Job or Jaws as Bond villains go. He's more, you know.
Speaking of Jaws, that guy was in Jaws too
was
as
in
well.
Jaws, too.
Oh my God, he was.
But that was
When you said that, I was like, wait, that's the ship guy from.
I kept going. Why does
Jaws.
that guy look familiar? Why does Red look so familiar? And we pulled it up, and I was like, "Holy crap!" But
Yeah, he's the best part of Jaws besides the shark.
So, I will say too, the thing I really enjoy about this, and I grew up on the I think, when did I start watching these? It was in like the Roger Moore kind of era.
You said Roger Moore to me.
Yeah, I saw Roger Moore once when I first remember
Oh, what's he
them.
like? Did you meet him? Did you talk to him? Did you? Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But I think by that point, like, they were so hokey and over the top
Yeah.
that, like, I didn't ever really get into them. Like, I liked Timothy Dalton a lot more because to me it was more rooted in reality.
And most people don't like those because it's too dark.
Yes.
But you're talking about like the so we're in a weird time. It's like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So it gets kind of weird. So it's either cheesy or dark.
Yes.
Those are the two things you get
Those are your options.
in the for some reason in the 70s. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm like, well, why are we on those two? Why can't we just put them together? I think that's what you get with this movie. There are cheesy aspects of this movie.
Yes.
But it plays very well. I think this movie like doesn't take itself serious and then does take itself serious on both occasions.
And I think that one of the things I really enjoy about it is that Bond is not like... It happens in the other ones where, like, Bond is like... He's one of those people who just, like, everything just kind of lucks out in his favor. And he's like, oh, how are you ever going to defeat James Bond? He knows everything.
Yeah,
and he's
it
so
almost feels like
suave
that.
and whatever. Yeah. And as he's portrayed by an 80-year-old Roger Moore. Yeah.
Or an 80-year-old Sean Connery later on.
Later one, yeah. But no, like, to me, as much as James Bond has his shit together in these movies, like portrayed by Sean Connery, as much as he has his shit together, he also is not perfect with stuff. He gets fooled. He still has...
Yeah.
He's got, like... You can tell that he's got, like, a little bit of... Not greenness, but, like, he's human.
I think you see that more with Daniel Craig's interpretation of it.
Yes.
A lot more because of
the
time and the era where we're like, oh, okay.
Well,
you want your hero to at least be flawed so you can like identify with him.
Yes.
If he's just always constantly like figuring it out without any help or it just falls in my lap, it becomes a joke, you know? And that's almost like the Roger Moore kind of like where it's just like, oh, well, that happened. Yeah. I hit a button and boom, there it goes.
Yep. So yeah, like I enjoy Sean Connery's portrayal of this because he's not perfect. Like I like that he has some flaws. Like he has most of his shit together, but like he still has moments where he's flawed. And it's not so over the top hokey.
No.
Yeah, so
no, I
really enjoy that.
These movies over time almost ate their own tail.
Yeah.
And became a parody of themselves.
They did.
So where they didn't know where they were going. I think they tried to then do something different when Pierce Brosnan took over, and then it just kind of got trapped in the 90s aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then when Daniel Craig finally took over, I think that's when I think things like if you're going to go which Bond you like better, it's kind of like who do you like more, like who's your better doctor? You know, is it David Tennant or Matt Smith kind of thing?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that argument with like Daniel Craig and like, because I would say it's a Daniel Craig and Sean Connery fight on who's probably the better Bond.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think he's fantastic in this movie. I think he like this movie hits everything that a Bond movie should be.
Yes.
Everything that a Bond movie later makes fun of actually kind of stems from this movie.
Yeah.
I honestly think that this is the probably best. Yeah, here's the thing with this movie. If I were going to say, and I don't watch many of the Bond movies, if I was going to go to someone that's never seen a Bond movie ever before, and they were going to go, where should I start? This movie.
Yeah.
I would tell them to start with this movie. It's very like audience friendly. Mm-hmm. You don't really have that much that you need to really worry about from the first movie, except maybe knowing that the Dr. No character and what impact it has.
Yes.
But other than that, it's not going to take away from the excitement and the action that this movie does bring. And there's a lot of action that this movie does bring.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm shocked because of just thought, oh, it's going to be cheesier, you know, because of the time error.
Yeah.
But really, sometimes just playing with those aesthetics, where it's not rooted in visual effects and more like practical effects,
Right.
actually makes it better. And I
Yeah, I
love
agree.
everything on the train. I loved.
Yeah, the train was great.
Do you know what I mean?
Except when, well, spoiler alert, Ali Karim Bey dies. I was really kind of upset with that. I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
I felt it coming, but I'm every time I see it, I'm just like, oh yeah, he died.
There really isn't a lot that you can talk about this movie that really has been said before.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. There's not like many allusions that you can bring to this movie that like you can shed a new light on this movie. These are Bond movies.
Yeah.
These are meant to be enjoyed. They're meant to just have, turn your brain off a little bit and just enjoy the ride, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not something I tend to. I don't know. It's just kind of like the whole. I'm not big on the spy thing. Like I'm not big on the gangster thing. I'm not big on the spy thing. What are you into?
Yeah, but you
Brad?
like
I'm into men.
spycraft.
That's what I'm. What
You like spycraft.
is that a game? Spycraft?
No, well, yeah.
I
but-
like espionage.
Yes.
Aspect of it, or like the chess playing aspect of like spying, not necessarily there's a debonair spy that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not me, but
Who-
I did
okay,
enjoy this.
Who are your top 3 Bonds?
There's super polygrip that bonds a lot of the teeth. In fact, if you put super polygrip on a construction worker's hat,
Yeah.
and stick him on top of like a thing, so where he's dangling, he can dangle from his hat. That's how strong a bond super polygrip is. This episode brought you in part by Super Polygrip.
Super Polygrip.
Super Polygrip. And then my second bond, that's 5. My fourth bond would be just regular like Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
And then classic duct tape for number 3.
Yeah. Okay.
And then no. Well, I don't know the Bonds very well, so I'm going to be serious with you here. I'm not a Roger Moore fan, but probably David Niven number 5
From Casino Royale.
from Casino
You
Royale.
don't have to do top 5, just top 3.
Top 3? No, I want to do top 5.
Okay, that's
top 3.
Do you want me to read off the list?
Timothy Dalton 3,
Okay.
Daniel Craig 2, and Sean Connery 1. Is that about right?
Yeah. Actually,
Roger Moore 4, because there is some
Yeah.
merit a little bit to it,
Yeah.
like the fun aspect of it.
Yeah. And then Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan, then Roger Moore. That one's a tough one.
So Sean Connery 1, Daniel Craig
Yeah.
2, Timothy Dalton 3.
Just give me yours. I don't watch these movies.
But Sean Connery's my number 1.
Super polygrip before Pierce Brosnan.
It's tough for me. Like Sean Connery and Daniel Craig, both like they kind of dance.
That's
back
what I'm
and
talking
forth
about,
for
like
me.
Matt Smith and David Tennant and
Yes,
Doctor Who.
exactly. Followed by Timothy Dalton, and then Pierce Brosnan, then Roger Moore.
Then probably Roger Moore.
Probably. I don't know. Like nobody ever says George Lazenby.
Well, why would they? He was in
he was
one
only
Bond.
one on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So
Yeah, no, he was in one Bond movie, right?
yeah, and nobody ever says
No one
Barry
ever says
Nelson.
Christopher Eccleston. Jesus.
Nobody ever says Barry Nelson.
My favorite James Bond actually is Idris Elba. No, but he should be Bond.
should be,
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Let's be honest.
Well, let's be honest. We can have a black Bond. We can. Do you think we'll ever have like a gay Bond or a girl Bond, or or any minority Bond, or a savings Bond?
You know what? Like
That's
I
my
was-
fifth. Number 2, savings Bond,
Yeah.
and number 1, Tri Bond, the board game. Remember that?
Tribon?
Yeah, Tri Bond. They give you like 3 things, and you have to decide what's in common with those 3 things. It was called Tri Bond.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have said tribond. I was with you till there, but I was thinking covalent bond from chemistry.
Well, then you're a geek.
No, I was kind of disappointed with like some of the reactions to when they were saying like, what about like Idris Elba, and people were kind of like coming up with all sorts of like like they reacted very quickly to it, and you know, of course you're like, well, I'm gonna guess this reason is racist if you just so like quickly dismiss that, and then to hear people like tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
And then when they were announcing, well, maybe a woman would be not James Bond, but, you know, Bond, and be 007, and which I was all about. I think that's interesting.
Okay, who?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
Now tell me, is this too much like her most famous role? But would you want Haley Atwell as a female
Haley
Bond?
Atwell would be great.
Yeah. Or is that too much like Peggy Carter?
I mean, it is, but
More modern?
yeah. But like, I could see her doing it at
Yeah.
least. What's her name? Who played Mary Poppins?
Julie Andrews. Oh, you're totally right. Julie Andrews would be the best Bond ever.
Hey, I could.
She'd be like, well, how am I going to get out of this sticky pickle? Hey, did you know a spoonful of sugar helps? And like the henchman's like, "Rrr."
No, not her. The other. What's her name? Emily Blunt
Emily Blunt.
playing Gemma Bond.
Yes, I could
Yeah.
actually see that. Mainly because of like that one Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people are like, no, make her 008, 007's reserved for
So
this. And I'm just
stupid.
like, what? Like, okay.
Grow up. Take your toxic masculinity. I can't talk. That's how much I hate toxic masculinity.
It just,
Ugh.
ooh.
Oh, I can't even say it.
But no, I'd like to see them branch out and be a little bit more creative with it. And maybe like,
COVID makes me not say certain words. Sorry.
even like get into more of the like, who are like the other like 001,
001,
whatever.
006,
Yeah, like get into some of those. Or, like,
0027.
yeah, yeah. Get into like different
What'd I
agent
say?
categories.
What'd I
and
say
stuff like
wrong?
that. I would love to see more in those. So
Would it be just 027?
I think so.
I just want that
Agent
to be
027.
Why not have that be a parody? I mean, you don't need a parody of these movies anymore, but you know,
Yeah.
oh
just
025. Bingo.
63.
Bingo.
What? The
We're just are we calling, Bond spies or, numbers and bingo?
yeah.
072. That would be me. I like my bingo squares shaken, not stirred.
An aging.
Yes,
An aging.
I like
agent.
the old folks home.
They like their Ensure shaken, not stirred.
Gross.
Who doesn't love some Ensure? But no, I think it comes back to like, I enjoy this movie. I think Sean Connery does an excellent job. And if you want to, I think if you're kind of like about like the new ones from like the Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton kind of era, going back to see Sean Connery like at the beginning of this, I think is a lot more, especially when it's before it just starts getting over the top and.
Do you know my favorite James Bond movie? It was called Remington Steele. But let's do it. Should we do our 5 questions?
Yeah,
I mean, then we'll talk about the movie actually.
What do you think was the best part of this movie?
A lot of things going for this movie that I totally enjoyed. I think this is probably pitch perfect on everything that a Bond movie should deliver. You got a great kind of sidekick with Pedro's character, kind of like the comic relief.
Yeah.
But I A, enjoy the music, and B, the cinematography is just out of this world. So cinematography for me, music number 2, and number 3, super polygrip.
I think as far as the best part of this movie, I think about obviously you have Sean Connery as Bond, which is just, I mean, it kind of goes without saying he's fantastic at this, but I really like that this movie. Okay, have you seen the first one?
No.
Okay. So this one, to me, is where you really start to get where they were like, why don't we just keep building on the mythology?
Right. That's what I liked.
And like movies down the line, like you see the recurring characters, and it's like, okay, like Q and M, and
but that seems fan service. This seems more myth.
But this is where they start like, oh, you have the same characters from the first one, and you get kind of a through story.
Yeah.
Because you have agents who are defecting from SMERSH, which is the Russian organization.
Oh, that's not the cat from like Thundercats?
SMERSH?
Yeah.
No, that's Snarf.
SMERSH?
No. And it's not Smarf from Too Many Cooks. It's
darn
SMERSH.
it. That was my second question.
But, and you get where Spectre shows back up. And you get where they're avenging their fallen comrade from the first one. And you get Blofeld showing back up. And like,
who?
The big main baddie from...
What was his name?
Blofeld.
Oh. Hootie and the Blofeld?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make that joke.
But you start getting like this through piece to it. And it's really like... To me, it's one of the earlier examples of something that I saw where I was like, oh my God, there's through story happening with this. And I love that continuous mythology. And this, to me, does a really great job with it. And I'm sure there's probably more examples of whatever. But like, this is the one where it's not just, oh, we have reprising characters. It's like more of the mythology continues to build. Like, what it is later on, pretty much.
This is the movie that...
This is one where
they tried to copy over and over again.
Yeah.
But didn't quite succeed.
It feels like they made a conscious effort to say, we're making through story.
Yeah.
We're building a mythology here. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I think that's one of the things that makes me go, yes, I love this movie, because it's more than the sum of its parts.
Also, it wasn't a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it has franchise aspects to it.
Agreed.
What's our second question?
Does this movie stand on its own?
Oh, no. I mean, Dr. No? What happened?
Dr. No.
No on Dr. No? No, it doesn't. But on that terms, it doesn't really need to, in a way. There's a lot in the plot that kind of just lends itself to the new story through what we're going through. So I think it doesn't, but it doesn't need to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that...
Because the mythology is so fun.
Yeah.
You are going to get a little confused. Like at the beginning.
Yeah.
Other than that.
To me, this is like an X-Men 2, where it's like... Yeah, it doesn't necessarily stand on its own, but it's also an easy jumping on point.
Very much so.
It's not one where you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you can pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah. In fact, if this is on, just watch it.
Yeah.
If you want to get into Bond. And if you want to get into bondage.
I was just going to say that.
Go ahead.
It's me, James Bondage.
It's me, James Bondage. I think that's a Pansy Division song.
Rough trick named Jim.
I really think that's
Jim
a Pansy
Bondage.
Division song. If I think about it. I'll have to look that up, but I think it is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Would you reboot, continue, or cancel?
Well, obviously, this question kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean,
I would reboot it, but not reboot it. I would continue it, but I would continue it for, I don't know, 3 more decades.
But no, like, okay, so they have...
And then cut it off.
Well, they've redone...
And then I would find a guy that was in a British miniseries. I wasn't done with my question. In a British miniseries about friends up in southern London, whatever. And then I go, that guy's Bond. And then I would reboot Bond.
Perfect.
And go, boom, look at that guy.
Boom.
He's short enough to be Bond.
Well, okay, so they have like when they did Casino Royale with the Daniel Craig Bond, Quantum of Solace, all these things, like they've built on this mythology, but they can go back to like the source material and
Yeah.
and
Do you know,
stick
originally I
closer
wanted to
or-
do this during the summer when I thought everything was going to be normal, and the new James Bond movie came out. I was going to have us do review this movie anyway, so it just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sean Connery, for dying. No, I don't thank you for dying. It was really sad when he did.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because he had Alzheimer's, and so that's really tough. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know, he my train jumped the tracks. I think you could always go back to, if you could go back to the source material and use it to buy or use it to like build like a Daniel Craig version of this, would you get behind that?
Like, what do you mean? Like Daniel
Like-
Craig just is playing all these movies? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Well, not like
No.
all the movies, but you know, as far as like book series and stuff like that,
I don't
they-
understand your question.
then forget it. Don't worry about it.
To be fair, I saw something shiny blow by,
It is
So-
very windy. It is very windy out today.
and I went, "Ooh, shiny!" So, and you've been married to me long enough to know that my train of thought kind of. Sorry, I thought I saw something. Okay, go ahead. What's the
We're
next
married. The
Not anymore after this
Oh,
episode.
damn, son. Does this make you want to watch the first movie?
Yes, this makes me want to watch the first movie. Am I going to? Probably not. But that's just because I'm not a Bond fan, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, if I was just a normal person, just kind of watching, because I'm a kind of abnormal person. If I was watching this movie, this was my first Bond one.
Yeah.
I'd want to go back and watch the first one. Yeah. You?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, it kind of makes me want to. It makes me want to start over and like watch them sequentially and go through, even to get through like the painful stuff. Like,
Okay.
Like it just makes me feel like
What are you doing Saturday?
no. I actually would rather start. I kind of just want to go watch the Daniel Craig ones. To be honest.
Honestly, like, if I'm going to watch, like,
'Cause
any of the
they're
James
They're
Bond...
like two different.
Because I haven't even seen the Daniel Craig ones, right? And
Yeah.
you told me I probably would like those. Because there's more of an art house feel to, like, some of those, in a way.
Yeah.
But on a bigger budget,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. But it's almost like two different series of things, and so you could watch them separate from one
Right,
another.
that's what I mean.
But no, I do kind of want to go through and just watch them, even like through the Roger Moore stuff, and just see, like, at least if you're watching them in close proximity, it's like, okay, how did this evolve, and kind of formulate your own mythology based off of it.
Also,
Like, are they
formulate your
all-
own opinion. Like, look,
Are they all
we
different?
might not like the Roger Moore stuff, but you might.
Yes.
You know,
Or-
who the fuck are we? We're just two
Or
guys.
take what you
talking in a
enjoy
microphone.
out of each one of them. Like,
Yeah,
just like
that's
with
what I mean.
Doctor Who, like, which of the you like different doctors for different reasons.
Right. Like, I like Christopher Eccleston, but not for the reasons that I like, Tenet.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's be honest, Tenet's the best Doctor. Well, no. Go ahead. At least one of the best modern ones.
Yes. Agreed. All right. Describe your experience in 2 words.
I.
I.
Yeah, EYE. EYE. Private Eye. Because I liked this movie.
He's not a private investigator. He's a spy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Then Spy.
I spy?
I Spy. Shut up.
There you go.
You're right. He's not a private eye. He's a spy. So I spy. Because I like this spy. This is what I meant to say. But you had to prove me wrong.
Yeah. There you go. My words are proved wrong.
What's your 2 words?
My 2 words.
Because I didn't take mine serious at all.
My 2 words are spycraft. What are you talking about? Spycraft, because this really... I think this movie helped to really craft, our perception of, these spy films and really built off of them. And a lot of things have evolved from there. Some of them goofier, some of them more serious. But, this has really helped to... And James Bond in general has really helped to build a lot of our kind of that spycraft espionage genre. I mean, I don't think without James Bond, I really don't think you were going to have a Jason Bourne or things like that. I think you get a lot. I mean, shit. Even
or a Magnum PI.
That's a private.
Oh yeah, you're right.
More of a noir thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Or a Sam Spade.
Or even think about
that's PI too.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Right.
I don't think you get a lot of that without this.
The spyness, yeah.
Yeah, this did a lot, and these kind of spy, suspense thriller kind of things did a lot for those movies.
But also, this is because you said spycraft. Also, the fact that this is the movie that really starts the craze of the what am I talking about? The tools that he used. You know what I mean?
The gadgets.
The gadgets, yes, the gadgets. This is kind of like the, gadgets that would later on kind of be a little too cheesy, along with Batman with his gadgets kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where you first kind of get a lot of the explanation of the gadgets.
Yes.
Because you're getting Q, and he's telling you all of those.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to watch that as well. To where that's kind of the genesis or where it kind of starts. So
yeah,
I'll give you. How about mine? Spy Hard.
Too late.
Oh damn!
I just wanted to make. Fine.
No, I just wanted to make a Leslie Nielsen, another bad movie reference.
Loaded Weapon. Oh, that's not. He's not in that one.
My 2 words are crappy crap. Oh Jesus. All right. I think you've been deuced with this movie, right, Jeremy?
You've been deuced.
Where can people find us when they're not listening to us?
Well, people can find us at thedeucepodcast.podbean.com. They can find us at Google Play, on Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, any of those kind of podcatchers. You can also find us on our Facebook page. Make sure you join us there. We will post things as well as some of our other podcaster friends will post things as well, things related to the show. At Deuce Podcast on Twitter, you can find us there.
What?
Yes, true. And we will retweet some of our podcast mates from the No Phony Podcast Network.
Mm-hmm. They're all on a ship, so we call them mates.
Mates. They are. That's.
Hey, mates.
I don't know why I just went to... Hello?
Hello, mates.
Hello? So, the No Phony Podcast Network, we are members of the No Phony Podcast Network. So, it's a ragtag group of people.
We're ragtags.
Who have all sorts of different... They're a ragtag bunch that has all sorts of different... I'm just all over the place with the accent.
We're the Bad News Bears of podcast.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, Buttermaker.
You have people with all sorts of different genres. We have things that are more political in nature. We have things that are sports based. We have things that are music based,
cereal based.
Yeah,
eating cereal with bitches.
Yep, that's a newer one of the shows. We also have different audio dramas, including the upcoming Coyote's Bluff, which is written by written by the founder of the No Phony Podcast Network. All sorts of different things in there.
He's a ragtag.
So different. Definitely go in, check it out, give it a listen.
Give it a listen.
There's something there for everybody. So you can find that at nophonynetwork.com. In addition to at No Phony Network on Twitter. So just keep an eye out on those.
Right, and look for us next month in December. We'll bring you some holiday movies.
Yes.
We found some fun holiday movies that we are going to review. They're going to be mostly kind of TV, like made-for-TV movies.
Yeah.
Or made-for-streaming service movies.
Yeah, like Hallmarky, kind of.
Kind of sequels that we found.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. Look forward to that. Ho, ho, ho. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, wear a mask, folks. Nothing political about that. Just wear one.
Yes.
Also, and remember, the sequel is king.
From Russia with love, I fly to you. Much wiser since my goodbye to you. I've traveled the world to learn I must return from Russia with love. I've seen places, faces, and smiled for a moment, but oh, you haunted me so. Still my tongue-tied young pride would not let my love for you show. In case you'd say no. To Russia I flew, but there and then I suddenly knew you'd care again. My running around is through. I fly to you from Russia with